So I'm about to head home. It's 11. The snow is supposed to hit at 1. It's supposed to snow 24 hours. Really, the first snow we've had this winter, and it's January 9th. So, when I was growing up, we had had snow in November and December. But we've been heating up the earth for 200 years. And now, with over 8 billion people, we're having more of a destructive impact. We're destroying our home. Are we ignorant, arrogant, insolent? So many people on the earth talk about God and their religion, and then they destroy the earth. Almost don't talk about that at all. The biggest issue in the world today is global warming, climate catastrophe. We barely talk about it. Are we good people? Are we good citizens? No, I'll say no to that. I kind of think we're good people, but we're not very good citizens. We can't think of the whole. We're so selfish. What about me? What about my thing? I'm just trying to survive. I can't think about these other things, like destroying the earth or concentrating wealth into the hands of billionaires all over the world, not just America. I'm not saying just Americans are bad citizens. Bad citizens are all over the world. People don't like to hear that. They like to hear this. How good we are. How great we are. Trump's pretty good about that. His people, he'll tell them how great they are. And then he'll tell them some people to hate. You're the good people. They're the terrible people. You're the ones that God likes. They're the infidels. You're the real Americans. They're the enemy of the state. You get what you vote for. You get what you vote for. A lot of the world is turning to the right. A lot of it has to do with immigration, because so many areas have terrible poverty where people are moving, just like they moved out of Arkansas during the Depression and moved to California. People move when they can't make a living, can't survive. They move. We have to help the earth have a decent standard of living all over the earth, so you don't have this mass migration. But you're moving to the right more because you're not sure what to do about your economics. Your standard of living is falling. Your quality of life is falling. Fewer jobs get paid really well. More jobs are. You'll never buy a house. You can't afford a house. How many people have I heard say that? They have a house, but their children will never own a house because it's too expensive. The down payment, what is $70,000 or something, or $100,000? I don't know, depending on what the price of the house is. But it's the down payment and then the 30-year mortgage, where actually the bank owns the house. You're afraid, so you strike out at the weak and the poor and the immigrant. And you listen to the manipulators saying, "You're great," and these guys are bad and they're the reason you're having trouble. The reason you're having trouble is because you vote for rich people to become richer. With technology, robotics, artificial intelligence, automation, a lot of things are going to be done where you're not going to have all these jobs in manufacturing or in factories, which could be really hard and inhumane, but at least it paid something. And those are being automated. And artificial intelligence is going to do some white collar jobs that people had decent pay, and they're leaving too. People don't know what to do. Well, what we have to do is become a community. Care about each other. Care about yourself, your neighbor, the stranger. Create a society of equals. Democracy is equality. Everybody gets the same vote. Equality has become a dirty word. The rich promote the idea of freedom. Freedom to accumulate billions and billions of dollars. Freedom to buy the election with billions of dollars. Freedom to use poor people as slave labor. Where is the more perfect union? Where is the general welfare? The necessary and proper clause of the Constitution. Isn't it necessary and proper to create a good society without such a disparity of wealth? Concentrated wealth at the top, which makes democracy meaningless. Who owns your home? Who owns your home? Who are you paying rent to? How much does it cost to have a home? Oh my gosh, I can't believe how big some of these houses are. It's unbelievable. We've been fed an idea of the American dream, which is obscenely large and takes so many resources to build, but also to heat and cool, and the resources of water. We need to live more simply. Humbly, simply, humbly. Giving thanks, being grateful. Maybe this is part of the process, is being used and abused by the rich. And if things work in the cycle, we're about at the bottom. We're about where wealth is the most concentrated. Otherwise, it's just going to become like a pharaoh or kings and peasants. That's where we're on the way toward, is the nobility and the peasantry. And as I've said, technology, robotics, artificial intelligence, automation, the information age, computers. You tell me where the jobs are going to be for hundreds of millions of Americans. I'm not afraid of what we're facing. I'm afraid of not facing it. I'm afraid of people giving up and saying, you do it. I don't understand. I like having a dictator because he makes all the decisions. Democracy is a hell of a hard row to hoe because it believes in us, it believes in the people. And we have to deal with this. If you're not up to it, then you're not helping society, including this society you live in. We have to come together and decide, how do we What do we need? Food, water, housing, safety. That's the basics. Let's take care of that first. And we're not. Housing. Where will you live? Who will own what you live? It may not be a house, it may be an apartment. I live in an apartment, a single person. It's pretty nice. It could be even a little smaller. It's probably almost 700 square feet. It doesn't have to be that big. Now, the floor is cold. It's cold outside and the floor is cold. So it could be better insulated. But a lot of the world lives in apartments. And the idea of buying your apartment where you would own it and take care of it and maybe pass it down to your family, it doesn't have to be a house. A lot of people own their apartments. They have to live together. We have to live together. Whether you have a home or not, a house or not, or an apartment, you still have to live either next to a person or across the street from the person. We have to live together. This idea of selfish acquisition. I want this. I want. The crazy thing is, so many people talk about Jesus who own nothing. He owned nothing. But they want to own everything. I'm a Christian. Remember Trump, he was at a Christian thing. I'm a Christian. I'm like, what does that mean? Love of money, mammon, avarice, lust, covetous. We cannot be those things. We cannot be those things. We can be so much more than that, so better, so much better than that. We are good-hearted. I've seen it. We're good-hearted. We create a system that is corrupted and rewards greed. Our system rewards greed. They're going to reward greed very soon with tax cuts for the rich. The Republicans will do that. I remember being kind of told when I was younger, I was a Democrat. My dad was a Democrat. They were the moral majority. Like they're moral. More Jesus, more moral. The Republicans. They've elected Trump twice. Nah, I don't see the morality. I don't see Jesus. No, I've read enough about I've read the four Gospels. I've read quite a bit about Jesus. There's a good book called Meeting Jesus Again for the First Time. That's pretty nice. A guy was raised a certain way, is pretty kind of an intolerant idea of Christianity and judging people. And as he grew older, he turned toward what he would call a compassionate Jesus. Compassion and love, which that's most of the teachings. It's not about judging other people. Now it was in John 3:16, I guess, where he says, "Only through me you get to God." That's in John. It's not in Matthew, Mark, or Luke. That was John doing some preaching. And who knows? This is 2,000 years ago. These things were rewritten, and politicians and the church and all these leaders decide what stays in and what goes out and what they want to emphasize. And as I've said before, the Bible is called the King James Bible. What does that mean? The King James Bible. A king. What does the King James have to do with what Jesus said? The teachings that I really like, of his is just love everybody, love the enemy, don't love money, don't judge others. Yeah, he's got some sweet, wise teachings we should follow, but we don't. We love money. That's the problem. We need to love each other. We need to love the earth. We can do that. I know we